water.
There's no Crystal Light?
No, because you refuse to wash the water bottles that you put Crystal Light in.
Welcome back to another episode of Boys Love History 3 Trapped. As always, I'm Adam. Go ahead. What's your name?
And I'm your old ball and chain.
Well, welcome back to the show, Ball. It's happy to see you. Thrilled you're here.
Ball, is it?
Ball of the chain lineage.
Bitch. She turned up and turned out. Miss
Okay,
History 3, episode 8.
She said it's mafia.
She said, we're done. We're done playing these games, okay?
I don't give a fuck. Okay, so if you don't know,
The show is about
History.
the mall.
No. History 3 Trapped was released in 20 20-minute episodes. On Viki, they have compiled them into
40-ish.
40-minute episodes.
Yeah.
So this is great. I prefer this way. Even if it was still only available in the 20 episode version, we probably just would have done this style.
Would doubled up anyway.
The show's a BL, and by BL I mean it's a BLAST because I'm having a lot of fun. This episode, the beginning half of this episode, is very much giving. We have to really start setting the table for the end of the show.
We actually have to
Enough frolicking around. Yeah.
We do have to
faffing about.
We do have to lay the foundation has been laid.
Yeah, there's a foundation, but
it's been
the
cemented
construction
over.
workers have not been there for a while.
Have been looking at tits and jumping in water, in pools.
Yes, yeah.
Fake massaging each other.
Right.
You know.
We've been distracted. We've been horny and distracted.
Yeah.
And they said we need to get back on track.
Yes. Because this house needs to be finished because the seller.
We have a deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah. A turnover date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that punch list, mama, that better be a tiny ass punch list, honey. Honey.
With all this time you've taken,
Honey. All the construction girlies are like, fuck yeah.
Jesus. So this week we watched episode 8. And in episode 8, we start, as we had left the last episode, Xiao Fei was like, was Sister Li Zhen? Was she actually in cahoots with Tang Guodong?
Tang Guodong.
So we started the episode, and Tang Yi and Chen Wenhao are having yet another tea.
tense tea.
Tense tea, yeah.
Titi. Titi is younger brother. Young brother in Mandarin. Titi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's why when he was like, Tang Yi Ti, like little Tang.
Oh. Sometimes I hear what they're saying, and then sometimes I just read it, and it doesn't sound like
they
anything.
might as well. It may have just been music,
right?
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think there is something. I think there is something really melodic about Mandarin.
About the Mandarin language.
The tunes.
Dui.
Okay, we are not doing a sleepy time. We're not doing a chamomile.
No. There's caffeine in that.
There's no tummy tea, Kim.
Yeah. There's caffeine in that bitch.
The
What was the point
of the conversation?
Because it went a little long, and we were like, okay, we get it. They're like, I always take care of the ones that are closest to me. Okay,
yeah.
Y'all hate each other.
They hate each other. They don't trust each other.
They don't trust each other. But they're like the two mob bosses. So.
They're two mob bosses. They're pretending to be friends or whatever, even though it's the most two ladies at the PTA meeting energy I've ever seen of
it's
back complimenting each other.
It's also giving the mahjong scene in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They're trying to one up each other but have to sound purely humble and
pure of heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they don't.
They don't.
So that's the gist of the conversation. The gist of the conversation is both of them being like, I will always get my revenge, whether I have to wait 23 years or whether it's tenfold. I will always. I never forget.
Diva.
He implies that Tang Yi is too naive. He's too young, right? this is a big running through line, is that Tang Yi really should not be in the position
Yes.
as head of the Xinjiang group.
Chen Wenhao feels that although I don't think he said it, but the oeuvre is that
The implication
is like, if I didn't go to jail, I should be you right now.
Yeah. And luckily for us, we get a flashback
Raven bitch, but backwards.
to when Chen Wenhao and Tang Guodong
Well, how
were-
Chen Wenhao got his infamous scar.
his groove back.
I would say like young ruffians, just thugs, just like
Punks. Street
just
punks.
street punks.
Very that energy.
And it's very brotherly, right? Like
yeah.
they're like,
They gave them wigs
yeah.
to try to
But
make
they
them
still
look
look
younger,
old.
but they
It's
did
still the
not.
same damn faces, girl.
They did not do anything to their face.
Yeah.
This is 2019. I think in 2024 they would have done like a little filter
Oh,
in
okay.
post, a little AI de-aging maybe.
Well, I'm trying to think when they did flashbacks and Stay With Me. No, they didn't have them in makeup, but it was really just the mom that died, and then maybe like
yeah.
Suyu's dad.
Well, there was the scene where
Or
the other
Wubi's
mom
dad.
was singing at the thing.
Oh yes, but she looked the same
But
because
also
she
that
looked
gap,
young.
that year gap, it was like supposed to be like 10 years
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Like this is an insane time jump that we have just done.
I could have done at least like maybe not a filter on their faces, but like a filter on the screen.
The Vaseline.
The Vaseline.
Vaseline on the screen.
Season 1 Drag Race.
Yeah.
So they're just like, oh, someday we're gonna be out of this. This business
Their
of just
dreams are
being
so big.
just like street thugging or whatever,
Yeah.
and just like making whatever. Someday we'll have like money.
Yeah.
That we won't have to do this. We won't have to run around, whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and get beat up.
And one house says, "Yeah, I've got a girl that's about to graduate, and we're gonna
definitely have a kid
we're gonna
together.
definitely have a kid together, and we're gonna
You're
have
gonna
a
be the
great business."
godfather.
Yeah.
The godfather is the person who is technically supposed to step in case
Yes.
both parents die.
Yeah. But I've always
So I
known
think
it
it's
from.
very interesting
Yes.
that it still ends up happening. Well, we'll get to it.
We don't know.
We don't know yet.
But because I was raised Catholic, it was always like you had to be at the baptism too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the God part.
But you still assign godparents even if you're not religious or anything. It's still the same vernacular. It's still the same word. Right? Like you still say like,
I don't know if people do.
oh my god,
You've never seen The Godfather.
I know that line.
Yeah.
Is the Godfather olive oil or is the Sopranos olive oil?
What are you talking
Like
about?
the clean business.
Oh, it's not. It's The Sopranos.
It's the Sopranos.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What was the Godfather's?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It
Have you seen it?
basically is inconsequential what the clean business is. I think they're like, it's a laundry, or a laundromat or something like that.
Wait, no, that sounds familiar for Sopranos. One of them is olive oil. Olive oil. Popeye.
It is Popeye.
It is Popeye,
Olive
but
oil.
that voice was not Popeye.
Oh,
That's Popeye.
You're watching a man free associate in real time. Just keep going. I want to see how far we can go down the street.
That's Popeye. And Popeye's,
Has a location in Paris.
huh?
Popeye's Chicken.
Oh, Popeye's Chicken, yes. Because they had acquired it from the Louisiana Purchase.
You saw that in a tweet. Cite your sources.
No, Popeye growing up, did you watch Popeye? Tamar, did you watch Popeye?
No.
Because
I've never seen an episode
when
of Popeye.
I watched Popeye,
Have you seen the movie?
No.
It's a musical.
The like
Robin Williams and
yes.
Shelley Duvall.
hello. Oh, I'm Shelley Duvall.
Hello.
When Popeye was on syndication on Cartoon Network, and I always knew him as Bluto.
I
'cause that's how
don't
it
think
was.
it was on syndication in Cartoon Network in America.
Okay, well, it was just the Philippines.
I think
anyway,
it might have just been the
when I watched it, his name was Bluto. Bluto. But my dad, when he watched it, like actually growing up, like on TV, he said
Yeah.
it was Brutus, and I think that's from the cartoon. So what's the truth? What's his name? Is it Bluto or Brutus? So they do another flashback, like they
Jesus
jump time, and then all of a sudden, it's like right before.
I want to say this. The minute someone in a flashback sequence, which you already don't need, right? Unless you're getting information, right? If someone in the sequence that's a flashback says, my girl, and I hope we have a son.
But see,
you
here's the
really
thing.
got to start.
I know, but
the cogs
but
a turning.
Did you piece that together as soon as it happened? In the reaction, I said it out loud. Like as soon as it happened, I paused.
Yeah, no,
and
I got
like,
it.
I was like, "Oh, Wen Hao is the dad. It's Li Jian and Tang Yi."
Yeah,
But
I didn't know.
You didn't get it until I said it.
Okay, sure, whatever you want.
No, I'm asking. Isn't that what happened?
I got that she was with Wen Hao, but I was not clear yet if I thought it was a possibility, but I didn't know if that's where they were going to go, if they were going to go a different direction. For a show that is gay, right? The show is gay. The show is about two gay men. And it is like they've not said the word gay, but like apart from that, it's been very explicit that they live in a world where people like blah, blah, blah.
Are gay. Right. There are gay people.
There
and it's like you two are one of those.
And 4 of them are the main characters of the show. And usually queer stories are like found family. That this show is really, at the end of the day, going to be about lineage.
Yeah.
Bloodline lineage. Yeah, I think that's interesting.
I mean, I think just mob stories in general.
Well, mob stories, but also I think like Mandarin, like the Chinese kind of like...
The lineage is very important.
Yes.
Yes. Like what like family do you come from?
Yes.
Like, yeah. So then still same flashback frame. But but we jump in time.
We're still in a flashback.
We're still in a flashback, but we jump
further
in time.
ahead. Yeah.
And it's one how it's like they've already have like established businesses, and how
the Xinjiang group exists
now.
It did not previously.
Yes,
but now it does.
Which Adam was like, just the way it translates, it sounds like Coldwell Banker. Like it might as well be.
There's something about Xinjiang group that just
sounds like a banking corporation.
It sounds like a law firm. It sounds like Fifth Third Bank.
Yeah, it just sounds.
I don't love it.
PNC, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Procter and Gamble.
Yeah.
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 But but they have a legitimate business.
That's true. So it is the Procter and Gamble.
So it is.
It's Mattress Firm.
We still don't know what their business is though, because it's not just the suits.
No.
The suit store cannot be the whole thing, mama.
I think the suit store is an actual business that is not tied to it at all. That he's just like.
He's an investor.
This is my personal.
This is my passion project.
Yeah, my passion.
Because he's gay. He loves fashion,
and he loves making sure that all those suits fit nicely on all these men. Yeah. Guodong is about to go to jail. He's like, there's no other way of getting around it. Blah 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 blah.
I kind of loved how it was they were like, we're not going to. It doesn't matter what the specifics is.
Yeah.
Who cares?
But
we're not going to get into it. But. And I love the idea that you can like go to the river the day before and be like, well, they're going to catch me. So what should I do? Or like they have caught me, or like someone's
coming.
Yeah.
And Wen Hao was like, well, let me just say that I am the.
He's going to take the fall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was when I realized I was like, oh, it's that. Then he took Tang Guodong took
Li Jian and the son. Well, yeah.
I feel like I'm having a stroke. Tang Guodong took Li Jian as his like girlfriend while he was in prison.
Yes.
And that's also part of his, because it was very specific that he was like, I waited 23 years for revenge.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Wen Hao was like, make sure you take care of my girl and my son.
Mm-hmm.
And
he did.
But see, that's the thing. You think that they actually were together.
Yeah.
I think it was just like a...
and
stay with me, right? Like, when she died, like, they formed a relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're...
But giving him up for adoption makes me think that, like...
Does he say wife? I don't think they were married.
He still says girlfriend.
I think he says girlfriend.
But because he's...
My girl.
Because she still gives him up for adoption. But she was still alive at the time. It's not like Guodong took the family took Tang Yi and...
Yes, so when did the birth happen? So is she pregnant when he goes to prison?
Maybe.
And then she's like, I can't do this alone, so that's why she gives Tang Yi up for adoption?
Well, that's... Yeah.
Because I don't think I don't think the baby's already born when he goes to prison. It can't be born because they came to the hospital. The adopted parents came to the hospital to get the baby.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think maybe they weren't together.
Now you've 180'd on your
I don't
idea?
think they were together. I think it was just
Guodong
an agreement. Guodong and Li Zhen.
Guodong, okay.
I think it was an agreement that I was like,
it was
let's
similar
give
to Tang Yi and Hong Ye. Maybe.
maybe. Yeah.
Where it's like more platonic.
Yes. And I think Li Zhen was like, I'll give him up for adoption. So that way we're like, she's like, I just want to clean, like, just all
Also,
clean.
none of this is in the show. Like, we're just
fully-
ruminating at this point.
Just think,
Theorizing.
This is the most we've ever thought about the plot in this entire time.
Yeah. Well, it's the most plot they've given to us.
Yeah. They were like, we're done with the nipples and the massaging.
Yeah, enough with the nipples, enough with the wounds.
Enough with the wounds. Enough with the backs.
I liked the added thing that they gave us the explanation of Chen Wenhao and how he got his
scar.
Yeah. I thought that was a nice touch, actually. And it's good that the makeup team got another infection or not infection, but another
interesting.
gash
It looks so indented, like as it's healed.
Yeah.
That I'm like, does that actor have that scar? Or
I bet not. I doubt it.
I don't know how the magic of stage makeup. But
How you make a scar?
How do you make a scar that looks like, oh, that's been there forever? You know what I mean?
It's basically like
you built out, right? Like it's like
you build out.
prosthesis.
It's prosthesis, but it's like you use like glue basically.
Oh, it's like
dried glue.
Yeah. Okay.
Mua. We've seen the mug, girl.
Mua. Okay, I'd
Mua,
like
she
to
is
see,
not.
I'd like to see it, Diva.
Oh no, she better Mua. I'd like to move on.
We were literally like, this tea meant nothing, right? Like we get it. And then
we've never talked about a scene so quickly as the tea scene.
22 minutes talking. We're still in this tea scene. Okay, let's speed it up.
He takes the fall for the Shentian law firm. We cut to Xiao Fei, who is now searching through whatever
files.
Files.
He's like, why do they know each other?
Artifacts. He's exploring caves. He's Indiana Jones. He's trying to piece together the puzzle of Li Zhen and Guodong. And were they in cahoots? Probably something he should have done 4 years ago when people started throwing these accusations around. But I have a theory as to why he didn't. So hold on to that. Put that in your cap. He goes into his puzzle box and he finds another secret hidden compartment that he never knew opened, right? Because he knew the main piece opened, but now there's another piece.
The cap
popped off. And then in it was a note. Not translated, by the way. Vicky did not translate the note.
It was just his dialogue being like, wait a minute.
Chen Wenhao? That's it. What? Girls. Vicky is very good too, where they'll do
translation note of like, this is an idiom.
Here's the idiom, like here's the explanation.
It's good.
Here's the actual like what he's saying, blah, blah. This one you didn't think neat. We don't want to just a quick.
I think it's the address. I think it was that address to the adoptive parents.
But why would Chen Wenhao's name be on it?
Because the birth certificate was there.
Yes, but the name was on the note.
Because he's the... Oh.
The name was on the note. Then he finds the long form birth certificate. And then that's where he finds the address of who the adopted parents are.
Okay.
So then he goes to the adopted parents' house.
He connects... He's like...
The constellation is coming together.
Yes,
he's connecting
because
the dots.
he's also playing back in a flashback of like, oh yeah, Tang Yi said he also had the same exact music box.
Yes. Well, at first he's like really dumb. And he's like, wow, this is crazy. He's Chen Wenhao's connected to this. And then is when he's like, oh wait, the puzzle box was the same. Meanwhile, when the puzzle box happened in the last episode, we were screaming at the screen like, open the box, Diva. Also, I'm still mad he hasn't opened the box. I know whatever is the clue that's gonna bring this whole thing together is in that fucking puzzle box.
Yeah.
And it's going to be episode 10 when it is finally open.
He finally opens it.
And it's gonna be like a picture of her and the baby and it's gonna be something.
Yeah.
Picture of them kissing, a picture of something. But that's gonna be what it is. And cool.
He drives
off and he calls Tang Yi. Then
No. Tang Yi calls him and he's like, hey, I can't talk right now. I'm investigating a case. And hangs up on him.
Oh.
And then the phone immediately goes on low bat.
Yeah, immediately dies. And at some point, allegedly, it falls under the seat, which is what he says later. Okay, girl.
Because it's so foggy, we kept being like, oh, he's going to get in a car crash.
This is the one thing that sucks about cell phones
kidnapped.
and media is like, you have to come up with ways for people not to be able to available.
Yes, totally.
And sometimes it's really convoluted. And this isn't necessarily convoluted, like a low bat isn't convoluted, but there's always the level of like...
It's believable enough that like he didn't bother to check his phone at all.
Yeah. So then...
convinced he's going to get in a car accident or kidnapped. Convinced.
Oh, 100%. Foggy night. Why was it foggy? This is as soon as I saw it was fog, I was like, he's going to get...
No, he's going to get
in an accident. It's Stay With Me all over again.
Yep.
Spoiler alert for Stay With Me. I was so mad. Didn't happen.
And then I got mad again because I was like,
so nothing happened. Then I was mad that nothing happened. So he ends up at Tang Yi's adopted father's house to like interview him basically. And I don't love giving this guy like a redemption arc of some kind and being like allowing him to explain and be like, here's the thing. I think it's very understandable for someone to be like, I wasn't ready for a kid. I like was like maybe not the best, blah, 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 blah. But like, you say that if you still tried. This man did not try. And in fact, I would say the opposite of tried. He abused his kid. So I don't... Right. It's one thing to be like, maybe I wasn't the best mother in the world because sometimes I would just let them be on their iPad all night. Right. Like, okay, fine.
But he's got an iPad.
But you were abusing your child. And the actor was abusing that other actor on the screen and we all watched it happen. So I just want to bring that up again.
But it basically verified for him that like, okay, so Tang Yi is kid.
Yeah. And the other thing that happens in the scene is that Xiaofei, the guy's like, my wife wanted a baby so much and I was like, I just did it for her. So stupid. Then she died and I like couldn't handle myself and I like whatever, blah, blah, blah. I regret having said yes to having a kid, basically, or adopting. And then Xiaofei had to stand up and this is how men do no internal reflection whatsoever. This is how you know. Xiaofei had to stand up and be like, well, sir, your wife died fulfilled and happy because she was a mother. It didn't matter that it was adopted or like because they had problems like having children biologically. That's why they adopted. And so
she lived a full life because she was able to
do what she wanted. Like she had the life she wanted.
And he was like,
and he was like,
wow,
sir, it's been over 2 decades. He's 29.
Meanwhile, Tang Yi cannot get through to him.
Yes.
And it's like, it's super rom-commy because he's like, I fucking hate you, blah, blah, blah. Why won't you answer? Don't ever respond back to me again, blah, blah, blah. And he's like sulking in the bed. And the music is goofy.
Goofy.
And that's why we were like, if he all of a sudden appears.
If we cut to a shot of him dead in a car, I will scream.
Scream.
That's not what happened. Yeah. So that's the running through line for Tang Yi for like the next 15 minutes. It's just that he can't get a hold of Xiaofei. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Jack has realized what dire straits his boss is in because he can't get a hold of Meng Xiaofei. So he's like, I'm going to go give Leon a bento box of lunch and ask him where he is. So that's what he does. He shows up at the police station, he gives him a bento box. They have a very cute scene together. I'm still utterly charmed by them.
Yeah, and
if you had told me, because we knew of Andy, right? We had the book, we had his magnum opus. Mm-hmm. If you had told me he was going to be the cute, like it wasn't going to be like hot and heavy.
Tell him yourself.
If you had told me that he was gonna be the one in the show who had like a goofy, cute,
Right.
very cutesy, very
Storyline.
demure romance,
Yes.
I would have laughed.
I fully would have been like, no, he was just,
He's the hot one.
he's the hot one. He's the assassin.
Right.
He was like, I'm going to wait for your reply. I'm going to continue living until I wait for your reply.
That makes me worried.
That makes me, he keeps doing this.
Yes.
He keeps being like, I'll live forever.
Yes.
I don't think
And now
so,
we know
dude.
Chen Wenhao knows Jack
Yeah.
because he gets pulled. He runs out of the rain.
Immediately after the bento, ooh,
He runs out of the rain.
and they're like, Mr. Wenhao would like a word.
Yeah. So he goes and has another tea. There's so much tea.
Boy,
Honey. Honey,
Honey.
the tea.
you got
So
a
he
big
goes, they
storm
go and
coming.
have tea together. And he's
And he-
basically like,
Offering him, like, you can have Wang Kunchen's territories.
yeah, because you're so smart.
You're so smart.
And you're wasting your time with the Xintian group.
I don't think he's smart. I think he's just very impulsive.
No, I think he is smart. That's the point, is every time he's ever, Duga had nefarious reasons.
Yeah.
But he
That's
was
true.
always correct.
Yeah,
In
that's
what
true.
he was saying was what was going on.
But he rejects it.
Do you know, there's two things that I just realized now that we have never gotten. We have never gotten, which we all know, how they got out of the forest. And two, who was on the paper that Andy gave to
I
Tang
think it
Yi?
was Wen Hao, and I think that's so boring. I think it was Wen Hao. I think it was just Chen Wen Hao. But Jack refuses, right? He's like,
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
That's the end of Jack's.
We don't see him again.
No, we do. We see him on the balcony after Duga is killed.
He tells, yes, that's right. He tells.
But we don't know what his answer to Chen Wenhao is. We can assume that Jack is loyal to the Xiantian group.
Yes.
That's the character that they've set up for
Yeah.
us. And there's already in this episode so much backstabbing and double crossing that I'm like, I don't think they're gonna
I don't think they're
add
going to
that
do
for
it
Jack.
again. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're done. I think we've reached our max capacity. So yeah, come to find out, yes, Duga died in prison. He had been cooperating with the police, but then Ji, who is the one from like 3 episodes ago, who they just showed him drive off on the motorcycle, and I was like, that man is a double crosser. Girls.
You were right.
Girls. She's giving media literate, okay? She was the double crosser.
Chief is mad.
Chief drags him into the stairwell and is like, "How you did it? I know you killed him." And you know who's not? I'm kidding. I was not media literate because this
gooped.
reveal, spoiler. This feels like the biggest spoiler of the show.
You say that now, and
I know.
something happens.
I know something's
in the
going to
last
happen in
2
the last 2 episodes. So far, this feels like the biggest spoiler
Yeah.
because the other stuff has been telegraphed to some
Right,
extent.
right.
This one, I had no clue that the captain was in on this.
No. Aji basically is like, well, I wouldn't have to do it if you didn't start
took the
all
money.
of the. You took the money 4 years ago when
Yeah.
all of this was blah blah blah. You refused to let Xiaofei. Oh, you let Xiaofei reinvestigate
Yeah.
the case. Da 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 da. You took the money from 4 years ago. You know, the money that we've been getting from reselling all of the drugs,
that we
confiscated.
which is always the plot of the
Yeah.
show. It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
the narcotics. Gag, absolutely gagged. Kind of love the captain being like, oh, he was gagged.
Yeah.
That G was like
We
calling
brought
him
it
out.
up, but it's
Yeah.
like, well,
because she was like, if I go down, honey, you're coming right with me.
So I don't think it's current. It's not constantly happening anymore. I think it was the event from 4 months ago.
4
and
years.
4 years ago, and he let it happen, and he let it slide, and he took the money,
Yes.
and then
I
now
think-
he just turns a blind
G
eye.
is
But G
still
is still
doing
doing
it. Yes.
because he's saying Duga has been supplying, has also not stopped.
Yes.
Because Duga is not stopping to do it. I am part of it
Yes.
to keep them off of the heat. Keep the heat off. And the chief is fully like having like a Greek tragic like, if I did it, because he also brings up like your daughter is about to get married, you know, and that money's dirty.
He's Oedipus gouging his eyes out.
Yes.
Okay. Thought. The whole rumor about Li Zhen is that she was taking money.
And it's not. She was the scapegoat.
She was the scapegoat. She died because the captain took money.
I don't think the captain orchestrated her dying.
I don't think so either, but you know what? I don't know. That's my guess.
Well, now that I don't think Wen Hao orchestrated the 4 years ago then.
We still don't know what the fuck happened 4 years ago.
But
other than people died.
Other than Guodong and Li Zhen are both dead.
Yes, there was a huge thing and people died.
Yeah. So it couldn't have been Wen Hao because he's like, I was in prison the entire time and I'm trying to get my revenge now.
He just got out?
Isn't that what it is? The 24 years? Or he got out then?
I think he got out then and then fled to Cambodia because he did it.
He did do it.
The question is, why is he... we'll get to why he's trying to do it now.
Yeah.
So Captain did it, girl. She's going down. Xiao Fei shows back up at home finally. This is the best scene in the fucking episode. I'm not kidding.
He just appears, and you can tell that Tang Yi's pissed.
Also, Tang Yi now has to deal with the fallout of Dugu dying.
Right.
Getting murdered, because now it's going to look... They're trying to like rehabilitate their image, and now this makes it look like they're in cahoots with the police. Like,
but they make it very clear that like Tang Yi was the one who turned him into the authorities.
Right.
But he died in
prison. Yeah. Xiao Fei shows up. He finally
charges his phone
with a power bank.
Not even plugged in, girl.
Not plugged into the wall. With a power bank. So, which again, was this with him?
Yeah.
Goofy. Why use a power bank?
You had a power bank and you didn't even bring it with you?
So that he could walk around the room with the thing. Anyway. He sees all his messages come in. He's missed 57 phone calls.
He plays all of the voicemails. And Tang Yi like gets embarrassed. Like he's about to like yell at him.
Because the first voicemails are like,
where the fuck are you?
Don't come back. Don't bother coming back. Blah, blah. Yes. And then it finally ends with him being like,
sweet. Like,
he's like, I'm really worried.
I'm just worried. I just need to hear your voice. Please just let me know if you're safe.
Look what I can do.
Why don't you leave me voice notes like that?
Do you want to know the voice notes RJ sends me?
It's always,
I want pizza for dinner. That's what RJ will send me when I'm at work.
It's like 4:20.
Pick up a chicken.
4:30. I'll be like, I want chicken strips.
And then Xiao Fei brings the mood down and is like, I need to ask you.
Sonny is like, where the fuck have you been?
They said at work that you had taken the day off. You just said you were investigating a case. So what's the truth, Mimi? Mm-hmm. And
out of all of the girls, you were third in the ranking. I could not believe it.
Right. He said that. And then Xiao Fei is like, okay, but I'm going to ask you some questions and you just have to agree. And then I'll tell you where I was. So he starts the first question by being like,
who were your adoptive
parents that I definitely know you had a great relationship with? And Tang Yi understandably gets very upset. And then he's like, no, please, you have to tell me. So he tells him. And then he says, is this their address? And then he's like, were you investigating me? And he's like,
I wasn't. You just ended up being the connecting person.
And he's about to kiss him.
No, he's about to say it. He's like, don't be mad. You like watched a different show today.
Didn't they kiss?
They did. He said he was like, there are two things that I need from you before. Number one, kiss. Number two,
that's right.
You can't be mad, basically.
Okay. So he's about to tell him, and then there's Saved by the Bell. Tang Yi gets a phone call, and the media is like, what? And leave.
They leave. He leaves in a huff.
They drive over to
an
this
unmarked whatever
warehouse. You know the type.
And so I was like, it's Jack. Because he had the meeting with Jack, so maybe Jack's in captivity and he has to take him. Worse, it's Hong Ye.
Hong Ye is held
Dao Yi's
captive.
not there.
There was,
They say a
by
line.
the way, there was this scene between Hong Ye, and it was very, listen, Stella got her groove, Hong Ye got her groove back because
She got
Dao
laid.
Yi definitely, they have fucked because she is way chiller now.
Yes.
And she's so like, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah,
I
she's
love your
like,
little
I love
gay
your
boyfriend.
little gay boyfriend. And you know what? Now I don't feel like you're alone anymore.
Yeah.
Because someone's there for you.
Someone's going to keep you safe.
Yeah.
They just walk into this trap laid by Chen Wenhao.
Hong Ye is like tied up. They say a line about Dao Yi.
Did they?
I think he does. I think they were like, they took care of him or something.
Oh, God. I hope he's not
So I
dead.
hope he's
Jesus
not dead, because
Christ.
this girl literally just got through to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a setup.
It was a setup. Tang Yi pulls his gun on Chen Wenhao. Chen Wenhao pulls his gun on him. Everybody's got a gun on each other.
Yes.
They're going to die. Tang Yi is going to die in this episode. Probably Xiao Fei as well.
Yeah.
Right? He's a cop. And then Xiao Fei goes, Chen Wenhao, you can't kill him.
He's
Tang
your
Yi's
son.
your son. And that's how the episode ends. And I am ready to watch next week. I cannot wait.
What do you think? Who's your MVP? Jack for the gag.
Jack for the gag.
Jack for the gag.
for the little run in the rain.
But sometimes Andy like has like very funny acting things that I'm like,
Yeah.
it's fine. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous.
You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You look like Lynn Evangelista.
Okay.
You're a model.
I mean,
I would give it to
one.
Tang Yi.
Oh, I would give it to Wenhao. I mean, like,
Oh, he does great. Yeah.
he definitely, because you get to know more of like why he's doing it.
I liked the scene when they were really young.
Yes. I was
And
like,
they
oh,
feel like they have
way
dreams
more
and-
dimensional.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
yeah.
not just he's the guy that wants to take the business.
Right. I think it's like it's a good gag. I would say like before this episode, I would not have assumed that Wenhao was his dad.
Yeah.
Once they start explaining in the episode, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that's
But
where it's going. I mean, the chief too, I guess.
I thought the chief was
It's a little,
fine.
you know,
it's a little big. It's a little broad.
It's a little melodramatic.
I would give it to Tang Yi because I liked the phone of it all. I
Yes.
liked that because again, at the end of the day, guys, I'm here for a BL.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm having fun with the
That's-
mafia of it all, but like I'm here for the BL.
That Tang Yi Hong Ye scene that we just skipped over, he was very much like
very earnest,
fine,
very sincere,
very fine that he's missing.
Oh yes. Also, yeah. So the guy who runs a mob and is dating a cop, I guess maybe because he's a cop, that's why he's like not super worried. But this man has gone into the hospital now 2 times.
And he's like, he'll show up. He's just
wounds.
busy.
And he is not sending like it's shocking to me that he doesn't send Jack out to go find him.
Yeah, me too.
But it's fine. It works out for the best, and they end up in a trap together.
Trapped. History 3 trapped. Oh my god.
More like History 3 gagged.
Discovering voices, building worlds. The Ampliverse.